Hey Aquarius, what's going on? What I was seeing in the pre-shuffle for your energy, I kept seeing Justice coming out. I was also seeing Seven of Pentacles. I was seeing Two of Cups. There can be something that's being made right between you and another person. We are starting off first with Nine of Wands, and having this energy, there can be something going on that feels like it's not an easy situation. It may be something that it's requiring some kind of like consistent, can't really let up, have to keep making some sort of effort here. But I also feel like I'm getting a little bit like weak in the knees trying to get this done. So there can be some of that you are feeling currently. Just something challenging that's going on right now. And you can feel like you're kind of on your way there to wherever it is that you're going here, but you still have a little bit of a ways to go. I see you trying to reach something. Eight of Wands, this can actually be the boost of energy that you need to get you the rest of the way. You know what Nine of Wands and Eight of Wands reminds me of? Like when you watch a character in a movie and they're about to lose a fight and then like something happens where they get like re-inspired again, whatever it may be. That can be that moment when we have the Eight of Wands there where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And it's like all your strength comes back to you and all of your vision comes back to you and all of your motivation comes back to you and you're like reminded why. But maybe you were having a little bit of a crisis with the Nine of Wands there where you were thinking about just like giving up in that moment, but then having that Eight of Wands will be like, me give up, I'm not going to do that. I feel that a little bit here. We also have the Emperor, so this can be something that you see as being quite important. It's not just something that you want to dip out on. So I think whatever this boost of morale was that you needed to kind of finish the job here, I'm seeing that happening for you. Maybe quietly, but it's getting done. I think overall there's stuff that's going on that it feels important for you to be giving your energy to these things, because like right now, as far as what's happening within your life, this is like all the relevant stuff that you have going on, all the important stuff that you have going on. So it feels like it's worth putting in the effort because these are important things. I'm also seeing Hermit, so it can be a time when you have to kind of just like put your head down and do what it is that you need to be doing here. And you can be having a lot of different stuff that's on your mind. I see a lot of work, maybe less play that's going on. I'm looking at Two of Pentacles, I'm looking at King of Pentacles, like I gotta figure this out, I gotta make this work, I gotta make this happen. There's a lot of that's happening there, but there can also be a lot more like quiet time that's been taking place too. So rather than there being like a lot of stuff buzzing and going on and there being like a loud, busy energy, I'm seeing it feel more secluded right now. Just putting your head down and getting things done that you need to be getting done. But not in a mindless way, because we have Hermit here. You can really be paying attention to things and being very deliberate with what you're doing. And maybe this is also like some type of balance that you're doing, because Two of Pentacles is in between Hermit and King of Pentacles. So what this means is that you can be thinking about things, you can be reviewing things, you can be being like actually quite on point and detail oriented and very like specific, and maybe even your perspective of things and what it is that you're giving your energy to and paying attention to. So you have that side of things where it's like the thought, and then King of Pentacles is feeling like the action that will come with that. And maybe you're also seeing too the relationship between what you're focusing on, where your energy goes as it relates to that, and then maybe also like what that is cultivating for you, because you can be trying to move forward with things, because King of Pentacles can be the stuff that you're working on right now that's going to just like further you in life currently. And with Hermit, you can be thinking a lot about that, like what are these important things to me, what really matters to me now, what is best for me to be focusing on. Maybe there's some sort of like problem solving that can be being done too, but whatever it is, I'm seeing you be very particular and detail oriented right now. So there's a lot of that that's going on. Okay, I'm seeing you sitting there and you're looking at a situation and you have multiple different paths in front of you, and I'm seeing you getting information about both of them, kind of like playing the tape to the end of each sort of direction that you could go in here. But I'm not seeing anything be done about it immediately. This feels more so like I need to get all of the information first, and I want to be really well informed. And maybe there's something about that where it just doesn't feel easy, or it doesn't feel automatic, because this feels like a big deal, whatever this is that's going on. Like this can really be setting you up for what's going to be happening. And so you don't just want to like offhand make some sort of choice, then be like, I should have been more informed because I would have chosen that path instead if I would have thought about that more. So I see some of this that's happening here where you may feel like it could possibly feel a little bit annoying to have to pause here and get more information, only because you may want to take action already, but for some reason I'm seeing you can't do that. Or you feel like it wouldn't be wise for you to do that, at least having Page of Swords and having Hermit here. This is like, I need to gather more information. I need to ask more questions. Like maybe there's certain things that haven't occurred to me yet. And so I don't want to make a move until I've thought about this a little bit more. Because yeah, this has to do with something actually really important that's going on for you right now. And I think this is like, it's like if you're building a structure that you know is going to be around for a while versus something that's more temporary. If you're doing something more temporary, it may not matter so much because you're just going to be there for a short time. But I'm seeing something having to do with like long-term setup. So you can be being a lot more thoughtful and particular about what you're doing here and kind of the material that you're laying down. Do you like the color of it? And do you like the feel of it? And how does that kind of move along with everything else that you're setting up? And does that really, can it coexist well, or is this going to create friction or tension? So I think these are the types of things that are being considered right now. Okay, I was seeing this at the bottom of the deck when King of Pentacles came out. I'm looking at an Ace of Cups. This is a huge, very important new chapter that is beginning. It is connected with the Emperor. So I'd say that there's a new chapter that you're starting, and this has the potential to be around actually for quite some time. It's going to feel very, very, very significant for you. I'm hearing it means a lot. I don't know what you've done with this yet. If anything at all, you may still be getting more information on this, but I'm definitely seeing it be a big deal. Seems to like this is going to take you somewhere that you haven't gone before. And there can be a lot of stuff that needs to be done in order to kind of like meet the requirements to connect with this fully in the way that you want to. But I'm seeing your sights be set on this. Because when we have Page of Swords, this is a very curious, intrigued part of us. And the Page of Swords is looking right at the Ace of Cups. So I'm seeing something that you're fully aware of within the energy. And it can be something that you're very, very curious about, kind of what this chapter would contain if you were to more fully indulge. And having the Emperor there can be a feeling of weight to this. Like a feeling of this being more concrete if this is something that you fully get involved with. You may not be like wearing your heart on your sleeve though, totally. Because having Page of Swords, you can be watching something and looking at it, but you may not have like moved towards it yet, but you can be like not breaking eye contact with this. But you can still be observing. It feels more like observing rather than interacting fully right now. However, it can be something that you really do feel the weight of. There's just an intensity that's connected with this. It's like that moment when you're walking down the street and something catches your eye and you can't really look away from it, and there's something that feels very important about it. That's the way that this is coming across. But there's also some sort of challenge that's associated with it, which means too that like you may have to pass some karmic tests in order to connect with this, because it seems like you're at a bit of a crossroads within some major area of your life. And maybe that's also what's part of this too. Like, are you going to go down the path that will incorporate this, or are you going to go a different way? And then are you going to dismiss this opportunity by doing that? What are you going to do here? And you cannot feel sure yet because you're still figuring some stuff out. I feel like eventually you're going to act on this, but it looks like something else is going on instead right now. I'm hearing pause and reset. What I don't understand yet is why this doesn't just feel simple for you. There can be something about the timing that's going on here. There can be a question of kind of like what you're willing to do, maybe how much you're willing to change if this is something that you're going to go for. Okay, we do have Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck. You're going to have somebody that really, really, really wants to connect with you here with that Queen of Cups. Reaching out. Let's see why you wouldn't just immediately take this. Anxiety. Can be some sort of mental stagnation. Okay, I'm seeing Eight of Swords and I'm seeing the Tower. What this means is that if you were to take the option that actually could be what you feel as like the most correct option for you, like the thing that you want the most, the thing that's catching your attention the most, the thing that you feel most called to connect with, if you were to do that, seeing Eight of Swords and seeing the Tower here, it can mean that there's going to be some massive shift for you, and there can be a part of you that's like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. So maybe there's a part of you that's been like avoiding some, maybe like the intensity that this would create, the change that this would create, the involvement that this would need from you in order to commit to this fully. I'm hearing assignment. So that does make sense. So it's kind of like, you know, this feels a little bit like Saturnian to me, where Saturn will come through and be like, how badly do you want this? Like, how committed would you be to this? Because I'll only take you on if you're 100% here. So I think it's one of those situations where you do have to be 100%. Otherwise, you may go in the direction of something that asks for maybe like less intensity, less involvement, less commitment. And not that like one thing is like you should do one thing or the other. I think it's more so like this can be the thing that feels most right for you, but it can also be asking a lot of you too. And that can be something where you're trying to figure out if you really deem yourself as being ready for something so huge within your life, because it seems like a huge chapter that you would be opening if this is really something that you're going to be going for. And I think there's a part of you that maybe doesn't feel so confident. It's like you're gonna have to go out on this 50-foot wave, and you can be like, I don't know if I can like surf something that huge, and I think you really want to, and it's a question of whether or not you're gonna just like go for it or not. But you can still be like undecided a bit here with this. And I get something too about like waiting for an opening. So that can also be something that's going on too with this. I know that the feelings are there for it. Like you can kind of follow the trail to this. And so intuitively, this does feel like the right direction for you to go in. But there can be a part of you that's still working on trusting that part of yourself. Because I get the High Priestess whispering in your ear here and being like, you want to hook a right over here. But I think that part of us that can really identify with like our cerebral energy, there can be a little bit of a disconnect between that and your intuition right now, where you can feel a little bit stuck. I think that this also creates some sort of shift like within your personal narrative too. Like this can be something where it like may change a little bit the way that you see yourself, and that can also just like psychologically maybe feel like a lot for you to be taking on, because this can be something where like this can have something to do with self, with your identity, with what you see as being like the right path for yourself and where you're going and what you're growing into. And I think that overall this asks for a lot of courage and a lot of self-trust. And so because of that, it can feel like this would be a really huge thing for you to take on. But you can also want this, and you can also feel like you need this kind of energy within your life right now. But it's still a choice, because this doesn't feel like something that you get pushed into. This feels like something where it's like your responsibility, it's on you. You're gonna have to be the one that does this deliberately. If this is something that you go for, nobody else is gonna make this choice for you. So it's one of those times when it's like you have nobody else's responsibility, nobody else to blame, nobody else to take credit for. It's either like you go this way or you don't go this way. And so because of that, I think like as we can still be sort of coming home to ourselves, this can be showing you a way to more so merge into that. But it can also be something that feels like maybe a little bit intimidating for you to do that at the same time. Like maybe it feels like a lot to integrate right now. Yeah, all that being said, there's stuff from your past, it seems, that has to be laid to rest in order for you to come fully into the present moment with this situation. And that can also be something that you're working through. Like maybe there's stuff that you haven't fully released yet, and you can know, yeah, I'm getting confirmation of this. You cannot be in a rush because of that reason, but you can also feel like there's some sort of pressure. Like for some of you, you can feel a little bit like you're running out of time. I mean, having an ace there, it can feel like the door is open now, but it's not going to be open forever. So maybe that's where part of this feeling is coming from. You can also be learning a lot about your fears and your limitations as well too. That can be something that's going on with this, because I'm seeing Page of Swords and I'm seeing the Devil, and this can be where our fear gets in the way of our curiosity. So it kind of like shortens our curiosity, or it trying to think of like a good way to say this. It will shut down the curiosity. So when we have the Devil there, it'll be like, I can't because of this, or like it's always been done like that, or then I'm gonna have to face dealing with this thing that, you know, I just feel like is too much for me to be dealing with. I'm gonna have to come face to face with the parts of myself where I'm not fully empowered. So it can be showing you that, you know, like where you kind of give your power away a bit. But at the same time, it can be also like shutting you down a little bit too. But that can also be something that you're becoming aware of, you know, like if I wasn't scared, I would just go for this, or I would lean in a little bit more, you know, like this has me like not even up to the edge. I'm like 20 feet back, feeling like I can't get any closer. And there's this part of me that's calling me in that direction because I feel very curious about it. But then I have these other things that are like grabbing onto my shoulders and holding me back here. But I want to go this way. So like, I'm going to have to deliberately like lift those things off of my shoulders in order to move forward. And there can be a part of you that like you didn't even know that you had like things there holding you back. So you can be like looking at your shoulders and being like, I didn't even know that this stuff was like gripping me up like that. And now I'm becoming aware of that too. And you always have the power to undo yourself from that. But it can just be you becoming aware of things that you weren't aware of before. Like I didn't know that that was holding me back. I didn't know that I had like set up those limitations, or that these things were impacting me, affecting me, influencing me in the way that they are. And so not only am I like seeing something that I want to go towards and realizing I'm gonna have to deal with this if I want to like give myself full permission to be doing that, but it's like teaching me a lot about myself that I wasn't even aware of before. And so it also gives you kind of like a double mission here, where you can be seeing stuff about your own limitations and what holds you back, and stuff that you can be like, I don't know if I want to be giving that a right to be holding me back, or a right to be influencing me. So you're learning that stuff. And then you also have something coming up that's like, you gonna take the leap or you're not gonna? You want to connect with this or you don't? Like, do you trust yourself, or are you trusting, like, are you giving your authority away to something else and not feeling empowered within that place within yourself? You know, so it can be like showing you some sort of disconnect. Where you can see that you're like deeply not on the same page with yourself. Because if you feel so curious and open about this thing, or like it's really caught your attention, and you're feeling for some reason like you need to go in that direction, and you have certain things that are holding you back, you can be seeing where there's tension and where you're going to have to work certain stuff out in order to really go for what you want to go for here. But yeah, it can be stuff that you never knew it was influencing you, or you never knew it was a problem until it's getting in your way now. And then you're looking at that and you're like, if I want to go this way, I have to deal with this. And so you can also be figuring out like just how to do that as well. So it can be surprising that this is going on in the first place. It can be like, I didn't know that I separated from myself there. I didn't know that I had this type of wounding. I didn't even know that this was a problem, or I didn't even know that this impacted me or influenced me. So I think there's like a budding awareness of some maybe blind spots that you weren't aware of within yourself, within your relationship with yourself before. And you're going to have to like take initiative, and you are going to have to take your power back here in this instance. But I do get it like being kind of surprising. Like you may not have known that this was in the mix of things before. So it can like maybe be just a little bit unexpected, that side of things. I see this situation, this thing that has caught your attention, this thing that has sparked something within your soul. I'm also hearing the word united. This has been coming through sometimes. This feels like it would be very supportive of kind of like the frequency that you're currently embracing and moving more fully and deeply into. So this can be something where like, this supports me now with where I am. This will be supportive of and for me now with where I am, with like, as I understand myself to be. And so it can be a chapter that feels very validating to you, and it can be something that you feel like is really right for you now within your life, where you are with things. And this Ace of Cups is going in with justice. So there's something that feels very significant about this if you were to allow yourself to move in this direction. Like, you would see this chapter, beginning this, as being like pristine and very much in right order for you to go that way. But it also means that you have to make corrections that need to be made, because you have to come correct to this opportunity. Otherwise, it is not going to be accessible to you. So that's what it feels like all that like dealing with these things is about. Like if you don't deal with these things, the chapter will be inaccessible to you. Not because just in general it's inaccessible, but kind of like if you're not dealing with certain things, you are not going to be an energetic match for it. And so you won't be able to connect with it. Like the fear is kind of like a safeguard keeping you away from it. I see in general turmoil about this, but I think the more that you sit with this, the more it's going to become clear, and you'll be able to separate your intuition versus your fear. But it definitely does feel complicated overall. What's more important to you? I see also this intuitive knowing that this is what you want. But maybe you also had to get kind of quiet to feel sure of what it is that you were feeling with all of this. Yeah, for some of you, part of what you're breaking away from is something that doesn't really work within your life anymore. So it's kind of like this broken thing within your life, but it seems like you could choose to continue participating in it. Or you can look at it and say, like, I know that this is over for me and I know that I need to disconnect from this. And then you go about what you need to go about here. So yeah, I think this is like, are you going to make that change or are you not going to make that change? You're going to shy away from it. And that's what's going to be the deciding factor here. So it's kind of like this, it's like this thing that presents itself to you that you know is right for you and you want very badly, but there are certain things that you have to do, like requirements that you have to meet in order to connect with this. And the question is whether or not you're willing to do that at the end of the day. And you have to really trust yourself and allow yourself to be inspired, and I think work through and face some stuff that can feel uncomfortable and unpleasant and bring up some difficult things, but that the payoff is something that feels so very right to you. And so of course it's going to be worth it, and you know that within your soul. So yeah, that's where we're going to be leaving things for this reading. I want to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.